Before watching this video, subscribe to Women's Web and hit the bell icon.
Hi, this is Aparna Vedapuri Singh from Women's Web, and this is my new series, This Book Will Change Your World. This is not going to be a list of the best books in the world. I'm not pretending to any kind of objectivity. Instead, this is going to be a series that brings to you some of my favorite books by women. And I can promise you one thing, that these books will either bring you joy or make you think afresh, or hopefully do a mix of both. The very first book that I'd like to bring to you on this series is this one, The Other Side of Silence by Urvashi Butalia. Now, as the subtitle says, this is Voices from the Partition of India. This is a collection of narratives by women around the partition time, when so much of untold misery and violence was visited upon the people of India. And what Urvashi Butalia does in this collection of narratives is really center women's voices. Why should you read The Other Side of Silence? Well, I have 3 reasons for you. Firstly, women's stories are often the most deeply personal stories. They really reflect the human cost of large-scale conflict brought on by political differences, but where the impact is actually most deeply felt on families. And this reflects in women's stories. As Butalia tells us, when she spoke to male survivors of partition, they often spoke about the macro-level conflicts between communities. But when she spoke to the women, they spoke about the children they had lost. And that brings home the cost of violence to us at a completely different level. Secondly, these stories are beautifully told. And I'm not just talking from a literary perspective. Many of these stories are just so real, so unpolished. In fact, Urvashi Butalia tells us that in many cases, the person telling her the story would just trail off because they had forgotten something, or in some case, they didn't even know how the story ended on the other side of the border. And she let them be. She has really let the person tell the story in their own words. And that's something that really touches you as a reader. And of course, at a fundamental level, the third reason that I think everybody should be reading this book is that it really makes us question what objectivity means when it comes to history. The reality is that there is no one history that is out there in the books and, which is the same history for everybody. While what is written may come to us as the same thing, all of us really approach it from the lens of what has happened to us and our families. And I think understanding that we all come to history with a bias of our own is really important in today's world, where there is so much of news, fake news, alternative facts being peddled, and we really need to understand that all of us approach history with a certain bias, and therefore it also helps us to look beyond and understand that there could be other alternatives that we are not aware of. To give you a little bit of the flavor of the book, I'm just going to read 2 lines from the book, which really explain so much about it. So here goes. A million may have died, but they have no monuments. Stories are all that people have. Stories that rarely breach the frontiers of family and religious community. People talking to their own blood. If you've already read Urvashi Butalia's The Other Side of Silence and are interested in more narratives about partition, I'd like to leave you with a few of these other books which I'm sure you'll love. So you have Bapsi Sidhwa's The Ice Candy Man, which is a beautiful novel, which was also later made into a film. Then you have one of my personal favorites, which is Atia Hussein's Sunlight on a Broken Column, which is really about an Indian Muslim family, part of which chooses to stay back in India while some members leave for Pakistan. And of course, if you're looking at non-fiction, then there is Yasmin Khan's meticulously researched The Great Partition, which is an excellent look at partition from a more macro perspective in terms of the events that actually led up to it. If you'd like to read The Other Side of Silence by Urvashi Butalia, Just check in our comment section below, you'll find the link to the book. And once you read it, do leave a comment here to tell me what you thought of it. And if you'd like to know more about books that will change your world, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel.